Rina Shah is the founder of the consultancy firm Relax Strategy. She joins me now via Skype from Washington, D.C. Good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. I mean, how much really of this trip is about their personal friendship rather than ironing out the economic disagreements that the two nations have?
You know, from the get-go, I have felt that these two men have such an affinity for each other, and they are drawn to one another primarily because of their worldview, the way they see their roles as leaders of these two big democracies, the world's two largest democracies, India being the newest and America being the oldest. And so the reality is you know, you've got India that is so complex. It's many nations in one, it seems, sometimes. I actually just returned from there. And the sentiment about Trump is that, you know, maybe he is a bit like Prime Minister Modi. And I really feel that that is exactly why Trump wants to go there. He knows he's going to get a bit of a hero's welcome. And with India being the largest democracy, I mean, these are people of every type, you know, and you would think that they would be as diverse as the United States, but alas, they are primarily a Hindu nation. And so Trump, with all his issues with Muslim Americans, he hasn't got to worry about those. Those, of course, the Muslim issue complexifies Modi's reign as prime minister. And so let's just pull back and say these two men quite like each other. And I think we'll be comparing notes quite a bit.
If that's the case, then, Ms. Shah, let's get to the nitty-gritty now, because India has a history of protectionism. Trade is going to be a huge subject here, and they want the Americans want multinationals to get into the country. India's always found that a bit of a threat to its local trades and industries, and that's what Trump wants access to. He wants access to bringing cars in, he wants access to IT, and also to import grain and seed. And these are all the very things that India produces and feels threatened by if imports from America come in.
Well, look, the officials here in Washington, D.C., just on Friday acknowledged, the Trump administration officials, that really nothing is going to get done regarding trade, not even something small. This visit was truly supposed to be about bilateral relations, but we've learned since it's been official now that the visit between the two leaders will incorporate regional and global issues. And I think that's where they will really spend most of their time talking about, because in regards to trade, the Trump administration is still very, very nervous about the very things you just said. To make it a sort of larger issue is not really what they're feeling comfortable about right now. So whereas trade was supposed to be central to this visit, not so much. I think Modi will be showing off, of course, the Make in India program that he is so proud of, and will be, you know, really doing what Trump did too. And that's what Trump really wants. He's really proud of U.S. manufacturing and always been promising his base as well as the country as a whole that he wants to create more products in the United States. So that really makes this very difficult for the leaders to get anything done on trade this time. I think they will set their sights largely on talking about combating terrorism and how to share intelligence, which they've already been quite candid about. India and the U.S. is already doing.
Indeed. And of course, if much of this is going to be window dressing, handshaking and hugs, as we think it is going to be behind closed doors, you talked about some of the issues, and you talked and touched on Kashmir being one of the controversial points that perhaps it still irks India at the moment, because obviously they've withdrawn an autonomy law back in 2019. Trump is on record by saying that he thinks he can try and strike a deal between India and Pakistan over Kashmir. He's met the Pakistani Prime Minister in Washington, D.C. Do you think behind closed doors that will be a subject that he might want to sort of test the waters, dip his toe in, see how Modi is feeling about it?
You know, that was quite famous here in Washington, Trump really injecting himself into that. It was actually quite perplexing as to why he would go so far as to say he wanted to be the peace broker when Imran Khan was visiting from Pakistan. Modi quickly put the kibosh on that during that visit, and saying that he would not really welcome President Trump's intervention. And I think Trump, out of respect for Modi, because he does see him very much as a peer, will not even behind closed doors broach that topic. Trump tends to do this. He tends to really fly by the seat of his pants. I think he really wasn't quite sure at the time what he was really saying he wanted to commit to. So as a guest in India, I think he will, in fact, really maybe just take the passenger seat and just take the ride for what it is. That's what he really wants. He wants to go there and have a great big fanfare and parade made for him. And that's what he's going to get. Modi's been working on that. And Modi felt like, when he came to Texas, that Trump was extremely gracious to fly to Texas and be with Modi and essentially hold hands and parade around together. So I don't think Trump will take that extra step. The one thing that we know about Mr. Trump this many years into his term is that he just very much wants to be liked, and I don't think he wants to essentially rock the boat with Modi.
Well, we shall see what happens. Certainly we'll be following events there in Ahmedabad with Elizabeth, our correspondent, and it'll be interesting to see what the joint statement that comes out from the two of them will be later on,
Certainly.
I'm sure, during that visit. For the moment, Rina, thanks very much for joining us from the US.
Thank you, Sahil.
Thank you.